The whole flower pot signifies life before, how life was, how good it was. It was whole, there were no cracks, and then boom, that life is shattered. And then we talk about how we're trying to put our lives back together and go on. But there's always going to be a little hole somewhere because there's a little piece that got lost or got shattered. And some kid will notice that and say, well, that's like my heart, because there's a little piece that's missing.
Death is a normal part of our existence. It's something that families are dealing with in our community daily, that kids and teens are trying to cope with.
Children grieve completely different than adults. They can't grieve deeply for long periods of time. So there's short spurts of grief. And then 5 minutes later, they'll be out riding their bikes and playing and having fun. And so the parents get real confused about what that means.
Kids try to hide their grief because they feel their parents are sad enough already. Parents think by not talking about the grief, the kid won't feel the pain. The kid feels the pain, the parent just doesn't know about it.
These things, when properly dealt with, can strengthen a child. When we ignore them, we end up with all kinds of residual problems that will plague the child and those of us who work with the child for years.
Kids need a place to memorialize somehow, just to remember, to acknowledge the loss, to acknowledge that it's had an impact on their life. They need a place to talk about it.
It seems like people avoid talking about my mom. I don't mind talking about your mom.
Melody and Jamie, the puppets that we use in classrooms, teach not only kids who maybe have had a loss how to talk to people about that loss, but also teach kids who haven't had a loss how to talk to somebody who has, and what might be some of the feelings that they're having, and how, as a friend, you can help.
The Child and Teen Program develops resiliency in a child, their ability to come back from this, articulate their experience, and cut and paste those tools into other difficulties, supports the academic and social well-being that we seek here at school.
There often aren't words for their experience in their vocabulary, and so using art, whether it's paint or collage work or drawing, to describe and process their experiences gives them a language and becomes this representation of who they are at this point.
The memory box is a memorial to their loved one, and they work so hard on them, and they want them to be so beautiful because they are representing that person's life.
On the front cover, my memory box has a flag of the USA because my dad used to work in the United States Air Force.
Kids sometimes think the only way they can get over grief is to forget about the person, and we try to teach that you can get over your grief by remembering the person. The memory bears are little stuffed bears that are made out of a garment of the person who died. And we have volunteers who make these bears for us. Parents tell me they sleep with them every night. They're a huge source of comfort.
Not everyone struggles with grief, but those that are having a very hard time really need to come and see us. We have a sliding scale, a scholarship program, so we will see anybody that needs it.
And at the end of the grief group, you get to make this little balloon and write whatever you want to write on it. And then you get to just let go of the balloon and give it to your last one.
Some people think of hospice as, oh, they go to the bedside of dying people and respond. True, it's way more than that, and the Child and Teen Program demonstrates that.
There's so much need, and we only have so many counselors. We'd like to be in all schools, and we just don't have the staff capability right now. The funding is what makes that possible.
Grief can leave scars for life. And if we do our work and if we support someone that's in grief, especially children, then it's going to change their future. It's going to change their lives.
Grieving is not a terrible disease. It's a natural process, and most people want to shove it in a box and never think about it, but you can't do that.
I've learned coping techniques to let you move on with your life and not just linger on this forever.
No matter what, don't give up. Tell your feelings, and life goes on.
The most important thing that I learned is that you really never get over death. I still cry a lot, but it's a lot easier to talk to people about it now.
The candle lighting ceremony at camp is one of the most special moments. We line up the memory boxes so the picture of the loved one is visible. We put a candle in front of it.
And then as the person's name is called, the child lights a candle in their memory and in honor of them. What inspires me most is their ability to take something that could be devastating and turn it into something very positive. We see incredible acts of courage here every single day.